What's up YouTube, Capital G here. So as you guys have probably heard already, and I guess I'm a little late to the party, I was playing a game of League of Legends, got off, decided to jump on YouTube, and man, it looks like Konami has just dropped a bombshell on the TCG. I'm not talking about just some big news like, Mega 10 announcements. This is like it's going to change everything. I mean, this is equivalent to, I guess the last time we got news this big was like Elder Entity Norton finally coming to the TCG, but this is essentially Norton's, well, one of Norton's partner in crime. Obviously, you guys know Cyber Dragon Infinity. This is ridiculous. Like, I can't believe it's finally coming to the TCG, and it's gonna be in a booster setting. You see here, it's gonna be card 94. I believe that is the 90s are reserved for the OCG imports, obviously, and to me it looks like it's gonna be secret rare. Now there's so many different angles that I have to hit in this video because this is just a card of this is one of those cards where we don't get a card that I think is going to affect the game this much. Now, personally, I have been on the record. I have said many times, Cyber Dragon Infinity is right now, in my opinion, the best card, and like it's the most powerful card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! It has shaped entire formats. If you look at the OCG, they have basically jumped through hoops not to ban the card outright. So obviously there's been a lot of collateral damage. A card like Telemias that ended up getting banned. Elder Entity Norton, which was already a pretty good card by itself. Like you could argue that it was ban worthy by its own merits, but for the most part it went into Telemias, and then that went into Cyber Dragon Infinity. There were a couple of steps that I cut out, but that ultimately this is where you went to. We know it as one of the most just powerful boss monsters ever created. The fact that you summon it, the fact that it has a built-in solemn judgment, the fact that it absorbs a monster, the fact that you can equip things to it and it gets more and more powerful. I think it's going to have a huge impact, and I think that we are going to have basically, I look at the beginning of next year, and I think it's going to be very similar to the OCG. For the last, I would say year, the TCG hasn't been super close to the OCG. Like, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that we got Burning Abyss, and that kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything because the OCG never had Burning Abyss. And now, Konami gave us the Cosmos, and it's just another amazing deck that's TCG exclusive that no one ever got to play in the OCG. And, we played things like Ritual Beast where they didn't really play those in the OCG. So the TCG hasn't really followed the script that the OCG has laid out, and some of that has to do with the fact that we didn't have the cards that they had, and this was a major component. But now that we're getting the Magicians, now that we have Elder Entity Norton, now that we are finally getting Cyber Dragon Infinity in less than 3 months, well, but basically in 3 months, this is coming out in Break of Shadows. It's going to be here in January, so I guess depending on what time of the month that set releases, we could be playing this card in 90 short days, and I think it's going to be so powerful. And also, you have to think about this. This is the same exact set where we are getting Solemn Notice, so it's like, not only are we going to have just this incredible, powerful lockdown monster, but on the off chance that, you actually are about to get around and kill a Cyber Dragon Infinity, don't think your opponent won't have all of these counter traps to just back them up. Now you can just have an Infinity turn 1 and set a Solemn Notice, and it's like, GG. Oh, you want to use a monster effect? No. Oh, you want to MST my Solemn Notice? No. Oh, you want to special summon? You want to Pendulums? No. Like, you won't be able to do anything. You combine that with the absurdness of people now playing things like Apex Avion because of the Magicians being popular, where you can basically pendulum summon a Solemn Judgment every single turn, because as soon as it negates, you put it back to your hand and you just P-summon it the next turn. And man, I think the TCG is going to become so stun heavy. It is going to be insane. I think that a lot of these combo based decks are about to die off because I think the game's just going to be it's just going to be so stun focused. And I think that rank 4s are about to take over the world. Now, we've already seen I guess you could say the secondary market go nuts, as Telemias this dude's rocking $30 now. I mean, I think that this is pretty incredible, because I mean, if you would have bought this card 5 5 hours ago, you would have spent maybe $10, $11, and it's a $30 card. Now, I mean, it is an ultra rare out of the last set, so, you know, and no one's going to act like Telemaios isn't a great card. We know why the card's great, because it allows you to go into things like Pallades and Cyber Dragon Infinity that most decks have no business going into. But, I mean, hell, you can play Gadgets and go into that deck, or go into these cards now. So, you know, it's not like I can be mad and say this card isn't worth it, because it's ban worthy. The card got banned in the OCG. So I want to know what you guys think. First off, how big of an impact do you think that Infinity is going to have? I think it's going to be probably, well, it's hard for me to say that a card in January is going to have the biggest impact of the year, but I mean, it's one of the strongest boss monsters ever. Like, I mean, I think it's probably, well, maybe not Chaos Emperor Dragon, Judgment Dragon. And it would be in the top 5 if I just think off the top of my head. And I think that you can kind of, to me, it appears like it's a secret rare. So not only is it going to be a card that pretty much just like molds an entire meta, I think it's going to be like $100 card. Like, this is not even going to be a card where there is a period where it's going to be cheap. Like, I think this baby's going to launch at like $80, and then it's probably going to creep to like 100. And I don't think it's going to drop anytime soon, because it's only going to be available as a secret rare. So let me know what you guys think. This is, man, this is huge. I didn't really think that we were going to get this card anytime soon. I thought it was going to take us like a year and a half or something like that. But Konami is smart. They're being very savvy with business. I mean, they know that the community has been looking at this card from a distance and looking at what it's doing in the OCG. They really can't make any more money off of it in the OCG, because they pretty much, you know, they got rid of Norden, they got rid of Telemaios, so they're like, hell, let's bring it to the TCG. I mean, everybody in the TCG knows how ridiculous this card is, and I think it's gonna basically shape the meta. I can tell you one thing. I know I'm rambling on, but I believe that Breakthrough skill is going to become a staple, and I think Phoenix Chain is just going to evaporate. Like, Phoenix Chain is going to fall off the planet, because if you don't have ways of getting this off the field, I just think that you're just going to get rocked. And the best 2 ways that I can think of dealing with Infinity are going to be Solemn Notice, because spell speed 3, your opponent activates Infinity, you can flip over a Notice and kill it, which, I mean, that'll be one way. And then Breakthrough skill, just use a Breakthrough skill early in the game, and then, you know, detach it, and, you know, Cyber Dragon Infinity will get negated. So those are probably like the 2 biggest ways to get rid of this card. But man, this is going to be huge. This is a game changer, and I think this set's going to sell like hotcakes now. Thank you guys for watching, as always.